On today's episode of Wrong Side, we take a deep dive into week one of the NFL slate with a lot of bad, ugly, wrong side ball being played. We review a few big games from week two of the college football season with a lot of major upsets happening there. A life segment talking about how to keep life fresh and interesting in your 20s. Clutch moment of the week, sponsored by Shore Metals, and our typical outside the line. In a world full of champions, we find ourselves on the wrong side.
Welcome back, Wrong Siders. Today is Wednesday, September 11th. Welcoming in you guys, number 25, quarter century mark for Wrong Side. And we're going to do number 25 the same way we did number one. Just Joey and I. No interview today, but going to be a great episode. A lot of football to talk about, a lot of life to talk about. Obviously, going to be a great episode. Joey, let's kick it off. What game we want to go to first? Obviously, watched a lot of football. Hopefully, our asses aren't too sore from sitting all day. But let's jump into it. Game one.
First of all, happy 2-0. Victory Sunday does feel good for both
Victory
the
Sunday.
Cowboys and the Bears. Also, never forget episode 25 of Wrong Side. And week one of the NFL is here. So let's start from the top here. Ravens, Chiefs. Crazy game. Honestly, kind of disappointed in the Purple Birds out there. A big repeat of the AFC Championship game. I was lucky enough to be watching that game with our boy Jake Konikoff, our roommate senior year, and a very, very big Ravens fan. He brought me and a couple of the friends out to a KPMG. It wasn't a KPMG event, but he was in Chicago for training. So all the
Okay.
KPMG folks were out at the bar.
A
And for
lot of
those of you who
accountants.
don't,
Very smart. Yeah, sure.
a lot of accountants. I hated being there. For those of you who don't know Jake Konikoff, he is a little guy, very very nice, happy go lucky,
One really
very
small person.
one really small person. But when it comes to the Ravens, he gets this loud, deep, like "oh man, what's wrong?" yell to him. So watching any game with him is quite the treat. And for a while, when I first met him, I thought it was a bit. But the fact that he's still going like that in a crowded bar full of new coworkers, the dude is on another level. Go Purple Birds! But a game of inches, to say the least, to kick off the NFL season. I think there was a large sum of money placed on the Kansas City Chiefs futures after that game. The Ravens, they they blew it in the AFC Championship game. I think they only ran the ball 8 times in that game last year, and it looked the exact same. Derrick Henry got a touchdown run early in the game, but really they were playing from behind most of the game, still within a score or so kept things interesting the entire time, literally down to the final second. But couldn't do it. Couldn't commit to the run game. Derrick Henry looked almost useless at times. One thing I really did want to call out, I saw in that pregame broadcast, was Derrick Henry is very used to playing out of the single back with the quarterback under center. Derrick Henry has like a 5-yard head start running downhill. And the Ravens are one of the teams that use the shotgun formation the most. So that's a lot of side to side for a big man like Derrick Henry. So you could, one, see how that kind of was a difference to him in terms of timing, footwork, reads, as well as when they were under center with Derrick Henry back there, it was a big tell to the defense that a run was coming. So the Chiefs really locked him up a lot of the time. Lamar did Lamar things, came down to the wire, but still seems like the Chiefs are their kryptonite.
Yeah, I kind of didn't really understand the usage. I didn't know that about the shotgun formation. That's a pretty interesting stat, like to understand more. My kind of take on the whole Derrick Henry usage, I didn't really understand all game, was because he had 13 carries the entire game. He had
Mhm.
5 on the first drive when they scored the touchdown, and 8 for the entire rest of the game. I couldn't understand it. And when I was talking to our friend Dean, who obviously is a big Chiefs fan, he was like, oh, they were trailing, they were losing, but they were never down 14-21. It
Right.
wasn't a big game where the run is like, okay, you can't run anymore, you got to pass the ball. It was never like that. It got down to 10. I'm pretty sure at the half it was 14-10, I think, at the half.
Something like, yeah, one
So like
possession for sure.
so it was still one possession at the half. The game was there. I don't understand the usage of him, and they kind of started utilizing Justice Hill in the backfield more. He was catching passes. He was trying to block, quote unquote, not
How
doing a lot of
about
stuff.
that? in the end of the game, I'll give him a shout out for that one. To have him in pass protection against one of the best
Right.
defensive linemen in the league, and Chris Jones, one on one. You see Lamar, and he said it. Lamar said it in the post game press conference. He was trying to help him out, stay immobile a little bit. Obviously, that's when Lamar is at his best. Sadly, missed a throw to Zay Flowers, but hell of an effort by Justice Hill and pass pro at the end of that game.
Right. 100% agree. I know Derrick Henry isn't the best pass protector. I understand that. But at the end of the day, like he was non-existent. I understand he's not catching passes. Maybe they find a different way of using him. Maybe they think it's week one, they'll ramp him up. But they got Keaton Mitchell coming back in a couple weeks from injury. So he was great last year. They have Hill, who's great. Obviously, Lamar uses his legs. But at the end of the day, our game, the trend of today's episode for when we do NFL is going to be sentences. And you said it best, game of inches.
Mm-hmm.
Likely he's in the end zone. He misses it by a toe. It's tough, but Chiefs keep rolling. And I don't, it's not to say that I thought Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes-esque. I didn't think he even played that great. I thought he played well, 200 plus yards. He had a couple touchdowns. They were great, but it wasn't anything where I was like, oh, Patty at his best. I didn't think that was Patty's best game. I think
No.
the Xavier Worthy touchdown, when he threw it to him, the quick 47-yarder, he was wide open. It wasn't beating, it was just no safety, no coverage up top. And I know Rashee Rice was getting a lot of targets, but I didn't see that. The defense did step up. It was kind of different. I felt like the second half of that AFC game, the Chiefs defense, the Ravens defense shut them down pretty well. And it felt like both teams were kind of going at it offensively with average defense and some big
Yeah.
moments. But we'll see how those teams change. I definitely think, though, you're right. Chiefs futures are being placed. The Chiefs are the team to beat still. Nobody will get in their way.
Yep.
Next game, Packers versus Eagles, Friday night in Brazil. My sentence for the game was, it's getting slippery in the BBL. Field was gross. I don't know if it was the turf
Awful.
god or what it was. Awful. I was reading that it was supposed to be a pro because both teams play on that same type of grass, and that was the type of field. People were slipping on sacks. Quarterbacks were slipping on dropbacks. Receivers slipping in routes. It was bad. I thought everything was ugly. And the Eagles, Jalen Hurts was the only person I think to have over 300 yards this week, but also the only quarterback with 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
So, to pick and choose, I think it was a gutsy win for the Eagles. I'm not going to compliment them too much. I know the Giants and their GM and the Mara family are sick watching Saquon, but
Yeah.
the Eagles took it to him. Packers battled for a while. I know they have a deep core. Josh Jacobs looked okay. I think he could have looked a little better, but definitely going to be interesting to see how the Green Bay potentially is for the next month. We don't really know Jordan Love's status. They said it's a sprain. First, it's going to be 3 to 4. Now they're saying 1 to 2. Malik Willis is the backup. I think the Packers are in a little bit of trouble, and they can't afford a slide, I think, in that division. In that division especially, you can't afford a 4-game slip. But Eagles come out of Brazil 1-0, and Packers go home down 1-1.
Yeah, the turf. JJ Watt actually made a really good point on Twitter. It was a soccer stadium they were in, and though it could still be the same type of grass that they're using, he was arguing that those fields they're prepared for light players, fast guys, no
True.
pads, gliding across the surface, the ball rolling, keeping it quick. Not big 300-pound linemen with a ton of force and a ton of cuts like that. So
Great
something like
point.
that to think about. But yeah, the field looked shitty. The Packers go down. Was very excited to see that, but another sloppy game. This week was about grit for a lot of teams in a lot of ways. Like you said, Jalen Hurts turned the ball over 3 times, some drop snaps, one of the most questionable interceptions I've ever seen to Jair in the end zone on that one.
Yeah.
But gutted it out, stayed gritty, had aura. Packers 0-1, only team to lose in the division this week. So go Birds on
Oh,
that one.
and Jason Kelsey was the secret to the tush push.
Yeah. They added something to their bag. They went on 2. They
They
got him
did.
to jump on one of them, so that was big. The Eagles are alive and well. I think there's going to be some growing pains. There's growing pains across the league that we saw, but that's a big win. That's a big win for them.
Definitely.
Next up, Steelers Falcons. Steelers pick up where they left off. Fugly wins. So Justin Fields gets the nod with Russell Wilson being hurt. 18-10 final score, I believe, or yeah, 18
18-10.
to 10.
6 field
Uh,
goals.
6 field goals, no offensive touchdowns. I believe the stat was Caleb Williams and Justin Fields combined for about 24 drives on Sunday with 0 offensive touchdowns being scored. So Steelers are living right there. I think Tomlin is probably ecstatic to be able to choose between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson compared to what he had last year. But with how they looked there, not that the Falcons looked great. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Steelers have a winning record again and be able to shake things up in the AFC North, which is also a super tough division. Kirk, he looked old and slow. He's still clearly hurt a little bit. 2 picks for him, not a lot of pace on the ball. Another thing that I saw on TikTok was his footwork is getting switched up. He was always a big like alternated foot. He had his right foot forward, ran a lot of shotgun in Minnesota. They were in more of the pistol in Atlanta this week, and he was a lot more even footed, so a little bit more awkward, as well as just not looking as powerful. He's no Lamar Jackson by any means, but he looked slow. Kyle Pitts got in the end zone, which was
He
big.
did.
Bijan still looked good, but Kirk's got some growing pains. He's coming off an injury. He's learning a new offense. Got to give him some time. But another ugly game, which is where the Steelers have been thriving over the last couple of years, and they come away with a W.
Yeah, I think you hit it kind of on the nose. I saw Chris Boswell, the kicker. Obviously, he had the 6 field goals. I think he
Mm-hmm.
missed the record by 1 yard for most total
Yes.
yards in a game for field goal kicks, which is crazy to think about. It was like 243. I think he had 244 is the record. So pretty
Yeah.
insane. Fields made some good throws. That Pickens 40-yard bomb was great. I think he baited the guy well. I watched a video today about him and how he got that ball off. Really like that one. I don't know if he'll be playing next week, so kind of interesting to see, but looks more serviceable than a Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph, that option. From the Falcons
Yeah.
side of things, I agree. Kirk Cousins, I have never been a big Kirk Cousins guy. I've always been the guy to be flabbergasted when people tell me he's better than Dak or he's better than other NFC quarterbacks. I don't buy that one bit. He's gotten the money. He's never really won anywhere. But we'll see. Maybe this is just a one slip up. At the end of the day, you can't really fault the team for giving up 6 field goals. Like, never really
Right.
got in the end zone. The defense did technically their job. At the end of the game, when they got their last field goal, it was 15-10 and Kirk threw the pick. Pittsburgh ran it back till about the 35, 20, 30-yard line. And they stopped with another field goal. So again, defense, bend, don't break. That situation, maybe. The division is not good. I don't think this is an end-all,
Right.
be-all for the Falcons, but I think winner of that game for me is potentially Michael Penix. I think Michael Penix is a winner of that game watching that performance. So that's my takeaway on the Falcons.
Love it.
Next game, we head up to Buffalo for Cardinals versus Bills. My sentence is, I have 2 for this one, was did Fanatics and Michael Rubin call Goodell to make sure Marv didn't get the ball? And did Kincaid sleep with Haley Steinfeld? Kincaid, 1 target, 1 catch. Marvin Harrison, 3 targets, 1 catch for I think 4 yards, 5 yards.
Yeah.
Bad video came out after the game on a big deep route where Marv is waving his hand up and down. I don't know if Kyler could see him that high, but Kyler didn't hit him in stride. It would have been 7 easy. They were up 17-0 in this game, blew it.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen kind of played Superman again. I'm very critical of Josh Allen. I've been critical over him for months now. I think he's pretty careless with the football, but when he's on, he's on. I would have appreciated maybe like a tight end draw or something in the red zone instead of all these rushing touchdowns for Kincaid. But Josh Allen put the team on his back, rushed the ball well. He hurt his hand at the end of the game, hurt his left hand, something to monitor moving forward. But Bills move on. Pretty impressive win. I think their defense is not great, and I think they're going to have to win a lot of
Yeah.
shootouts. And Cardinals, the offense looked like it potentially had something with the way they were using Connor and Michael Wilson. And McBride was getting in there a little, but not getting your number 1 overall or your first round pick involved, other than 3 targets, 1 catch for 4 yards, was pretty pathetic to me. I think the Bills keep rolling, and again, big Thursday night game against Miami. It's a good division. Patriots got to win too. Obviously, the Jets lost tonight to San
Yeah.
Francisco, but I think it's gonna be a tough division. I'm never gonna count the Bills out. That's the thing. I will dog Josh Allen, but I'll never count a Josh Allen team out. But something to look forward to.
Wrong side bull for me as a Kyler Murray fantasy owner. That was not a good day. And
Same.
as a Bills bettor, I was half a point away from hitting a pretty naughty parlay. So I was very disappointed in that game. But yeah, huge win for the Bills. I think it kind of would have been panic central. They're a team that's in the media a lot. When they falter, the media rips them. When they look good, they're hailed. So going down big was tough for them. But Josh Allen plays Superman again. The Cardinals, I don't think they're by no means a contender, maybe a sneaky wild card team, but they'll keep games interesting. So to go up like that, you just got to find ways to pull out the game and complete the win. So they'll be interesting. Bills will be good. I'll probably be back on them next week. I do believe in Josh Allen until he faces the Chiefs in the playoffs. But
Right.
yeah, that was one of the more interesting games of the weekend. What is next? Patriots Bengals. Sleepy Joe and the tale of turnovers. I believe Joe Burrow is something like 0-4 in opening day games. They start slow. They look terrible. The Patriots rushed the ball for 170 yards with about 120 from Ramondre Stevenson. Bengals as a team rushed for 70, which looks like crap. And keep in mind, college football sacks are counted as negative rushing yards. In the NFL, they are not. So that is all true rushing stats there. 39 rushing attempts for the Patriots to 16 to the Bengals. I know they were down, but you just can't possess the football, cannot look like that. Cannot possess the football and control the game with that little rushing attempts. 2 Bengals fumbles, 0 total game passing touchdowns. So Joe Burrow being the best player on the field, he did not show that today. Patriots time of possession, they just ran it. There's without Belichick, they're still a really well coached team. They possessed the ball, had a little bit more of a Michigan blueprint, where I like to say the Bengals had more of a Colorado blueprint. Drop back and pass didn't really work out for them. So Jacoby Brissett, I want to give a special shout out to him. One of my favorite backups in the league, sneaks out with a win. I believe the Patriots team total wins was at about 3.5 to start the season, and you're already at a third, 25% of the way there. So I would like to see them lose a little more. It'll be interesting to see how they move forward with Drake May kind of sitting in the wings, but Bengals look slow yet again.
Bengals look slow. I saw something that in Burrow starts last year. Obviously, I think he played 11 games out of the 17 last year. In 11 games, the Bengals had 2 fumbles,
Yeah.
and they had 2 fumbles in week 1 against the Patriots. The defense looked firing for New England. Gerard Mayo, I should say. He looked great as the first time head coach. First game, I thought the Gatorade pour over him was a little premature, a little tone deaf in game 1, but I understand first one in the NFL, take your moment. But the way I was kind of reading about after is the team apparently all spring and preseason and training camp, etc. They have this hill next to their practice facility, and at the end of practices, they would run up this hill for conditioning a lot for probably like 30 minutes. I was reading, and at the end of the game, when they were fighting 16-10, battling in the last quarter, they kept yelling in the side like, "Remember the hill, remember the hill, remember the hill." Just kind of like a motivational way of using it. Like those guys have worked harder than you. Kind of reminded me, kind of Miracle on Ice a little. Like Herb Brooks
A little
made sure.
aggressive, but okay.
Well, he in a sense of he made sure they were the most conditioned team. They were not going to be tired at the end of 3 periods. At the end of at the end of 4 quarters against a much better team, that Patriots team was not tired. They were ready to go. They dominated the time of possession. They beat the Bengals fair and square. I will say T. Higgins out, something to monitor, doubtful for another week potentially. Jamar Chase was sick. Seems like he's in his diva era already. Week 1, maybe a
Yeah.
little early for the season for me, but whatever. Bengals, big week this week. They got Kansas City on Sunday, not a game to mess up and get everybody back on.
Yeah.
Next game, this was one of the better games. I think it was a top 3 game for me over the weekend. My sentence for it was battle for a decade, Texans versus Colts. I have not been the highest on Anthony Richardson. I don't think I'm super high on him, but he looked legit. He had that throw slipping off his back foot for 65 plus yards to Alec Pierce. That touchdown was incredible. My problem though with Anthony Richardson is, and it showed again on Sunday, he seems to be wanting to run a little more, which I understand he's trying. I think he is that Josh Allen build. He has that body to
Yeah.
keep powering forward, but he completed 9 passes. I think it was like
I did
9
not
for
realize that.
19 or 9 for 21. So it's kind of tough to kind of give. I've said that's the critic. That's the critique I have of him is that yeah, he has Josh Allen's build and he's got a crazy arm, but 9 completed passes in a 4-quarter game to me is pretty unacceptable. From the
Yeah, that's
Texans
wild.
side. From the Texans side of the ball, CJ Stroud, I still love to watch him. He was rushed a little. He had some early slip issues for some reason too on the turf, but seemed to fix that early. And my worry about them was there's too many mouths to feed. And I was completely wrong. Mixon was a workhorse. He had over
He ate.
120
Yeah.
yards. Diggs had 2 touchdowns. Tank Dell had some big catches. And then they got Tank Dell working well on the sweep route. And they had
Hmm.
that going, which was awesome to see. Nico Collins picked up right where he left off, over 100 yards, a huge third down catch in that 4th quarter to keep the drive going. He showed well. The Texans are a good team. DeMeco Ryans is a well-coached guy. But that is a game one. I still want to see a little more from both defenses, but I think this is a battle we're going to see for a long, long time.
Throw another name in there. Texans got the Bears on Sunday Night Football. We'll see if Caleb Williams can put himself in the conversation for one of the top young quarterbacks in the league. Didn't look like it on Sunday, but there's still time. Yeah, Texans look great. Joe Mixon, I did not expect that performance out of him, nor Stephon Diggs. So hopefully I'm not revealing too much here, but I'm a Stephon Diggs fantasy owner. Don't trust him in the long term, trying to ship him off this week after a great week one. But Texans look great. They're super fun to watch. I love rooting for Stroud, but fuck them this week. So bear down. Moving on. Panthers, Saints, one of the crappy ones. You said that was a top 3 game. This is probably one of the bottom 3 games. Two of the least interesting teams, but a divisional matchup week one. My sentence is the Bayou beatdown. Saints tried to put up a few extra scores for the AP poll voters in that one. Chris Olave, dead. Fantasy owner of him as well. That is looking horrible. Rashid Shaheed, top 3 name in the league, is looking great. I am hitting
Mo.
the panic button hard there. Michael O'Hara last week, great fantasy football talk. Saw the writing on the wall. I was too dumb to believe him. We're cooked with Chris Olave. Bryce Young, also cooked. He looks less and less capable, confident. He looks fearful. He is running around scared out there. He's getting tackled by his own O lineman. It was his first throw of the season, gets picked off. It was his second throw of the second half of the first game of the season. He gets picked off again. They have no weapons. They have not a good defense. The Saints are not one of the best teams in the league, though they do have a new offensive coordinator, so we'll see what they become. But the Panthers are cooked. Bears still have their second round pick next year. I'll be at the Bears
That's
Panthers
insane.
game in Chicago. So I would all but guarantee a win for that one. Please don't make me eat my words. Derek Carr with a masterful 19 for 23 with 3 touchdowns. Didn't quite eclipse the 300-yard mark, but they looked insane. The Panthers truly have nothing to root for. If you are in the Carolina area, I am sorry for you. It's rough. It's rough out there.
Yeah, Saints took them down fast. Like you said, first pass of the game. I'll go out and say it. Unless something crazy happens with Caleb, I'm willing to say that potentially might be the worst trade of all time.
Yeah.
I saw a good debate today, which we'll get to when we talk about the Browns Cowboys games. But which trade? People were arguing which trade they thought was worse: the Deshaun Watson one, where they have the contract and they gave up all those picks and all that money, or is the Bryce Young one where they basically gutted their entire team for that one guy? Both bad, both up for debate. But Saints coming into Jerry's World next week should be interesting. I think they do have a good defense. I actually have their defense in one of my fantasy teams because I saw they have the easiest schedule in the NFL. So that's why I did pick them up. So we will see how it works. But Saints dominated. Very interesting to see. Derek Carr looked well. Foster Moreau even got in the end zone. And
Yeah.
Raheem Shaheed, he was dead on. Mo, shout out to Mo. He's on one of my teams, but he was sitting on my bench. So maybe in a future
Brutal.
week. Next game, Jags Dolphins. Big headline. I don't think this was one of the better games, but I think it was one of the bigger headlines of political news, pop culture news, sports news. But my sentence was fugitive leads to field goals. Early start in that morning with Tyreek Hill getting arrested for a traffic violation, kind of Scotty Scheffler-esque. We're recording this on Monday night, so at this point in time, the body cam footage has come out, which is crazy. Total power trip for the cop, which was insane to see.
Crazy. Yeah.
Absolutely insane. Calais Campbell, who was last year's NFL Walter Payton and the man of the year, comes in to try to settle the situation. He gets put in cuffs. OBJ is on the site trying to make sure something happens because he's in the Dolphins roster. Just a complete mess to start Sunday's game. But then it was back and forth. ETN was on his way to the end zone to, I think, potentially lock up the game. And Javon Holland knocks it loose, fumble. Dolphins get the ball back, come back. They win the game. Tyreek with an incredible touchdown. And then with one of the all-time best there goes that man celebration, does the hands behind the backs handcuffs, which was insane. I really hope now that the body cam footage is out that Goodell does not fine him for that celebration. I know that happens in past, but I hope he does not get fined. But Tyreek was incredible as well, made his way to another great game, huge touchdown. Waddle had some big catches. Tua, he looked all right. I think he was all right. But shout out to
300 yards passing for Tua. He was the only other one.
Let's
But yeah, it
go.
didn't look that great.
But I was going to say shout out to Jason Sanders, kicker for the Dolphins, game-winning field goal, Villa Park High School alumni.
W. Love it. Yeah, those are two interesting teams. I have ETN in a fantasy league, so if you can't tell, my fantasy week was not very good. Trevor Lawrence, I have sitting on the bench and a couple other ones, and a lot
Oof.
of a lot of Dolphins guys. I'm a big Tyreek Hill supporter in terms of his play on the field specifically.
Yep, yep.
But yeah,
Good call. Good call out.
that body cam footage was fucking crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, but those will be two interesting teams. I'd like to see the Jaguars get a little better. They've been kind of faltering, and they have a lot of good pieces that I really like. So would like to see them start to stack a couple wins here and there.
Definitely.
Next up, another shitter, Raiders, Chargers. My sentence there, give me 11 guys and Jim Harbaugh, and I'll show you a winning football team. Chargers are not exactly stacked with weapons and team ability. New head coach in Jim Harbaugh, and they come out with a W against a pretty weak Raiders team, but still made it look convincing. J.K. Dobbins with over 100 yards rushing looked like he's back. Health has been his biggest concerns, but J.K. all day seems to be returning to form. And there was a funny little clip of Harbaugh giving J.K. the game ball. JK's last college game, I believe he went for 160 and 3 touchdowns in Ann Arbor against Harbaugh's Michigan Wolverines. Another person I want to call out there, Joe Alt, absolutely ate up Max Crosby the entire game. Very cool to
Yes.
see that. O-line is very important. That's a Jim Harbaugh move through and through to take an O-lineman instead of a receiver in the draft to pair with Herbert. And it looks like it's paying off so far. Crosby's probably one of the best top three pass rushers in the league, and Joe Alt made it look like light work. There was a fight at the end.
There
Quentin
was.
Johnston was in there. I don't know if he can be hurting his hands with how poor they are to begin with. So that was interesting, but the Raiders were looking frustrated. Another divisional matchup and two tough teams. A Jim Harbaugh team will probably never back down for a fight, nor will any sort of Raiders team that just seems to be in their blood in the silver and black out there. Um, Coaching move, big coaching move in this game. Raiders decide to punt the ball down one score. It's 4th and 1, right around midfield on the plus side of the field, actually, with about 7 minutes or less left. Stat I saw was in the last, who knows, last period of time, they were like the only team to do that in a similar situation. So you got to trust your offense. I know they don't have a ton of weapons, but you got Devontae Adams. You have, what's the bald guy's name? Georgia, tight end.
Oh, Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers, the rookie.
Michael
Yeah,
Mayer, they
you
have
got it.
Madison, Zamir White. You're right. They have the weapons, and like you said, in that
Fourth and
period of
one.
time, 4th and 1 is crazy because I feel like every time I watch ESPN, Fox, whatever channel, CBS, whatever channel the game is on, it could be the first quarter, 4th and 5 on your own 30, and the analytics somehow say go for it. So it's crazy
Yeah.
that they declined to go for it. My one thing was about this game. You kind of hit all the main points, but it just stabs me in the heart, honestly, to see Joey Bosa and J.K. Dobbins helping out Harbaugh get a win. I told one of our friends that is a big Chargers fan that I am trying to ignore that team. I don't care how many Buckeyes are on it. I hate Jim Harbaugh. I'm not going to root for them. I hope they lose. It's nothing personal against them or the humans they are. It's only Jim Harbaugh.
I
Jim Harbaugh.
kind of like it. I
Mm,
hate to say it. He's a criminal. He ran away from his punishments in college. They
definitely,
cheated, they
definitely.
cheated, they cheated, but he coaches a damn good football team. Also, Lad
Fair.
McConkey with a real saucy touchdown for the white boy coming in.
He's a lunch pail guy.
Nah,
Uh,
didn't look like it there. Did not look like it
uh,
there.
Vikings Giants next game. This was also a shitter. My sentence for this one was: I always knew Sam Darnold could do it. Dot dot dot. Kinda. I don't really know how much stock you bring into it. The most important story I thought about this game, obviously Daniel Jones. We don't need to beat a dead horse. He's bad. He's struggled. He can't do it
Bad.
again. Definitely more salt in the wound after Friday night's game where they didn't pay Saquon and he goes out for 3 touchdowns. I saw today that he has, in his last 8 games, the last 2 seasons since Daniel Jones was hurt last year, he has more pick sixes, 3, than passing touchdowns, 2, over those 8 games, which is crazy to even think about. The one thing I did want to hit on in this game was the Vikings didn't crush them. They weren't the best team in the world. I think they were just two bad teams beating up on each other. But the thing I did see after this was the Giants players and the way that they could not handle the criticism or the media or anything. I read that I saw a video actually that Daniel Jones was walking into the stadium. People were dogging him, talking shit to him. Those fit now moving forward at the stadium, and no fans are going to be allowed by New York Giants
Wow.
entrances moving forward. Dexter Lawrence said, "What do you think about the fans booing you?" He said, "I don't care about all that. If they want to boo, they can boo." Kind of a shitty response. And then Kayvon Thibodeau, which was one of the worst responses I said. I asked him, "How can you? What do you think happened? You only had one pressure the entire game as a D line. This D line has been said to be the power." And he said, "Who else has a question? Anything else about not the defense?" He kind of ignores the question. Kind of
Damn.
a shitty move. Answer the question. I'm sorry. This
He's
isn't. This isn't Carolina. This isn't New Orleans. This is New York fucking City. You're in the Big Apple. You're in the bright lights. Answer the fucking questions. Your team has sucked for 15 years. You've been nothing without Eli Manning. Answer the question. Get back to winning football games.
Kayvon Thibodeau blew it up at Oregon against Ohio State a couple of years ago and has been actually specifically called out as someone who needs to take that next step for that team. So to see him kind of shy away from that shit, kind of soft. The Giants are in
Very.
complete disarray. Quick question for you before we go to the last couple games: start, bench, cut. Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones,
Oh
Bryce
my
Young.
god. I think I'm going to do that exact order. I'm going to do that exact order.
You,
You're
dear
not.
God, it's so bad. I can't.
I'm going to do that exact order. It's. I'll talk about it when we get to the Cowboys Browns. But John Fanta, that video, I think I've watched it 30 times. He's ticked. John Fanta's ticked, and he
Rightfully
said it.
so.
He said it in the video. He's in that same category, but I think I would start Deshaun, bench DJ, and cut Bryce. So that's my.
Dude, somehow I'm thinking about starting Bryce. I cannot with
If I
Deshaun
can,
Watson.
mix and match, maybe like lines and like players, maybe I can switch
Yeah.
that answer. But pure quarterback, that's my answer. I think still.
Ugh. Yeah. Where are we at? Jets
Commanders.
Niners.
I think it's Commanders Bucks.
Commanders Bucks. Shake and bake. Shake and bake. Bucks look hot, looking like probably one of the best, especially in terms of passing, looking like one of the best offenses in the league through 1 week. Rookies are bad. Jaden Daniels rushes for 88 yards, which really helped the team, but does fumble 3 times. I think he may have lost one or didn't lose all 3, but fumbles 3 times. One of the biggest concerns of him coming out of the draft was his ability to take contact and running the ball a bit too much. That was definitely on display here today. Austin Eckler looks viable for the team, and Brian Robinson looks good too. But Baker draws strength from the Browns' downfall, as we were talking about. Biggest point here: Bobby Wagner is a Commander. Did not
He
know
is.
that.
He is. He is. Wants to be the
And Mike
commissioner.
Evans, really?
Yeah, he
I
said
can
it's in
support
his
that.
plans.
I love that. Mike Evans is still here. And then Jalen McMillan, he'll be my clutch moment of the week. But shout out for him. We'll talk about that later. But they looked good. Commanders, rookie growing pains are there. We'll see what they can do. Bucks look good in a very winnable division. There's that.
Buck stayed hot. Baker looked great. Like you said, Mike Evans, he's consistent. You know he's going to get you the yards. Jaden Daniels, you're right. That was the concern. You hit it on the nose. But one thing to point out about the Commanders, I thought defense looked awful. They bring in Dan Quinn from Dallas. They said they wanted to regroup the defense. They don't do that. They don't look good week 1. That wasn't the best offense. Something to look out for. Hopefully they can wake up. I hope actually they can keep sucking so the Cowboys can get 2 more wins. But in reality, they have to wake up at some point. Next game I have Broncos Seahawks, the Jake Sharber game versus his buddy Carter Decker. They watched the game together out in Columbus, and it was ugly. My sentence was a direct quote from when I was watching on Sunday was huge rushing touchdown by Geno Smith. Geno played well, I guess. There were safeties, field goals. It wasn't the prettiest game. Bo Nix, just 57th year playing football. Still can't get the win. Mike McDonald, first win as a Seattle Seahawks head coach. Kind of good to see. I saw something weird with Marshawn Lynch talking to him on the sideline, giving him a little massage on the shoulders, which was kind of sus. But Seahawks win. Would like to potentially see JSN get a little more involved. Kenny Walker looked great, I thought.
Yeah.
But the defense looks good. The Seahawks have a good defense, and I think with Mike McDonald, they will get a lot better.
Yeah. All right. Last game before we dive into ours, Jets Niners wrapping up at the time of recording. Niners look great running the ball. They are the best regular season team in the league. Sorry, Cowboys fans, you are number 2 yet again. Niners thinking Super Bowl. A lot of concerns for the Jets, but Rodgers shows flashes. He looks good. Had some absolutely beautiful, just what the fuck throws from Aaron Rodgers that you like to see, and as a Bears fan, still brings me back to those bad times. A lot of flags, a lot of holdings on the Niners run game, but they absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage. No Jets pass rush, no Hassan Reddick, so that'll be bad. The defense, which was their strength last year, and they look to continue to be with more quarterback play. Defense, they got ran right through, no D-line play, tried to move to a 5-man front. I was watching the Manning cast, first half featuring Bill Belichick, so a lot of good ball talk between the Mannings and Bill Belichick, a very intelligent football room. But another kind of slow game. Jets have to wake up. It seems to be the case for a lot of week one, where the teams with good defenses were able to gut out some good wins. The teams who didn't turn the ball over were able to gut out some wins. Rodgers had a pick, a tipped interception, so that made me laugh. But Jets need to step it up. They were able to win ugly last year, not able to tonight, and the Niners look amazing.
Niners are good. Did it again without Christian McCaffrey. Potentially might be out for week two, too. But Mason steps right in. Maybe McCaffrey's a system back. But Ayuk didn't score, which was great. I was playing him in a couple leagues, so that helped out. And we'll
Old
see
out
how
boy can't catch the ball.
we'll
Peyton
see.
Manning
Yeah, I saw that
looked
video.
so mad. He
I
he was
saw that.
this is why we need to be in training camp. That he brought back, gave him PTSD when Edgerrin James was holding out and fumbled 4 times in like a week one game or something. Peyton was not happy, but I have Ayuk in fantasy. My fantasy week was not good. Hold out boy dropped a very catchable touchdown.
Yeah, it was catchable. I saw that video. I did see Peyton, but Niners keep rolling. They're a great team. They will consistently be good. My last game before you said Rams Lions. This was the Sunday night game. My sentence for that one was it was a playoff rematch, same result, but Act 3 coming in January. I think we're going to see these two teams play a lot. Puka got hurt. He's out for 4 weeks. But come
Yeah,
overtime,
sad.
Demont, ex-Bear, comes in, dominates in overtime, rushes them down the field, and Lions win. I think the Lions look fast. They're like young. JMO's getting going a little better now, which looks good. Rams, I thought the Chris Collinsworth glaze saying it was the best throw of the year so far on a 6-yard out route in quarter 3 of week one
Little
was a little
wild.
bit of a glaze.
Yep.
But good game all around. Good Sunday night game. Went to overtime. Awful for the spread. I think it was like 6.5 was a lot of the points, or three and a
Yeah.
half, and something like that. And just kind of awkward situation. But Lions win. Lions another good team. Rams, do not count them out. I do foresee them being a good team even without Puka, with Cooper Cup back.
I am a Cooper Cup owner, so that's the one thing that
Me
may have
too.
worked out for me.
All right. Bears Titans. Get after it. Let's hear it.
Bears will be bears is the sentence to describe that. I was watching it at a family event with Maddie and her family, a lot of big Bears fans, so a lot of phones on the table at different intermittent kind of delays going on. So you look at I was luckily the first one there, so everyone was looking to me for the football guidance, which was
Love
fun.
that.
But there is still something different. So Caleb Williams under 50% completions, did not look good. The whole offense didn't really look great, but there's a reason that I still have a lot of hope in this team, and it is Kevin Byard, aging safety. He spent some time in Philadelphia, some time in Tennessee. A clip came out in the locker room that says offense will settle in and win the games for them this year too. This week was the defense, special teams. Again, no offensive touchdowns for the Bears. So the way they handled that in the locker room, I think was very impressive. It's very easy, like we just talked about with the Giants, for teams to very quickly turn inward, start fighting. Bears have not been a winning organization in some time, but it really does feel like these guys truly love each other and want to play for each other, this front office, this coaching staff. So that was really encouraging to see, as well as Caleb's answer after the game. What do you think? How do you think your debut went? Not good. Need to be better. I want to be better. You just see that look in his eyes that things didn't work out for him. He didn't make a lot of huge mistakes, took a couple sacks you'd like not to see. But overall, again, turnovers. Titans head coach today said if we punted the ball on 1st and 10 every drive, we may have won that game. So again, a blocked punt, couple interceptions. Monsters of the Midway are back. So I don't like to rely on my defense and special teams for all those points. But like Kevin Byard said, the team. So hopefully keep that rolling. Tough test offensively and defensively on Sunday Night Football. Will Anderson will be a wrecking ball for our mid offensive line. And CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams duel will be one for the book. So hopefully we get a little more offense going there. But frustrating to say the least. We looked like Iowa football out there a little bit. But want to know.
1-0 was huge. Always good to start. Caleb, first quarterback, taking 1-1 to win against the spread and win outright since 2002. Pretty insane stat to really think about, all the quarterbacks we've had since then. But I've been saying since week one, I'm rooting for Caleb. I do not want Caleb to fail. But I've said everyone's hyping Caleb up and hyping this Bears team up. And I've said, look, the defense is fun. Caleb is fun. The weapons are fun. I have a problem with the O-line. Everyone who I talked to said it really can't be that big of a big deal. Everything else will settle itself out. And it was a big deal right off the bat. Caleb scrambled fast. You kind of feel for Justin watching Caleb, seeing Caleb getting put into situations that Justin was in. And he was not making the throws. He didn't look great. But week one, He's a rookie QB. He will get better. But defense, like you said, the team. Mr. Biles with a huge
Yes.
special teams block punt touchdown, which was huge to see. But fun to see Rome week to week now with an MCL sprain. I think is definitely something to monitor. I don't know what Keenan Allen's diagnosis is, or he's hurt already. I don't know if he played the rest of that game, but he saw him come up holding his foot at one of the touchdowns. He
Yeah.
didn't even catch the pass. But the offense must be better. They must block better. Swift can be even a little better, but again, comes down to the O-line. Like I've been saying, will
Yep.
be interesting to see on Sunday, like you said. Last game, obviously for me, Cowboys Browns, big one in the wrong side community with friends, big one for myself, week one. But my sentence for this game was like the movie itself, it's Groundhog Day again.
Hmm.
I don't really know what to do. It was kind of a weird feeling. Opening week for me. Obviously, done at the buzzer. Dak gets his deal, $60 million a year. I think that was what I was kind of worried about, was him pressing or him not playing well. And when you're paying someone $60 million, you expect them to make every throw. He had an early third
Yeah.
down miss on Brandon Cooks where he was wide open. He missed him on the out route. Didn't really like that, but kind of settled. Dak played well. One touchdown. It was a gorgeous touchdown in a full blitz. Kobe style off 1 foot step back to Brandon Cooks, had a great catch. But my take on the Cowboys is I think I accomplished the goal I wanted when the season started, and I am not super excited. It was a great win. Obviously, I'm excited to win. It's awesome to want to know. You don't want to lose week one, but it is Groundhog Day. It happened last year. I know that the Cowboys can win right now. I know the Cowboys can win in October. I know the Cowboys can win in December. I know they can even win in that first week of January because they've done it. It's so hard to get excited for these games when you know they can do this. They're a good freaking football team, and you have things that aren't even Dak Prescott. You have Brandon Aubrey, who almost attempted the 71-yarder, who is, even though he didn't attempt it, he is such a weapon to even be thinking
Yeah.
about that. He's hit 66 before they got that delay of game with ease. But the defense, phenomenal. Mike Zimmer comes in. He says immediately he wants to bring linebackers back, and linebackers were back. Player of the game for me, Eric Kendricks, had a sack, had a pick. He looked phenomenal. It was a 1-year deal they signed. He was in San Diego or LA last year, not San Diego. He was in LA last year, and he looked great. I think the team is very good. I think the Browns hit a road bump. I don't think this is the end of the road for the Browns. I think they have 4 cupcakes the
I
next 4
think
weeks.
they're dead. I don't care. They suck.
The
Deshaun
defense can
Watson
still
is
be good, I
awful.
think. But
It-
my thing about the Cowboys,
Awful.
though, is they need to be consistent. I think things I like to see moving forward was they got the turnovers. I'm not worried about they're going to get that. It's the linebacker play. I think they did a great job on the run defense, which is much improved. Yeah, they did gut us in that last drive when they were just running, got in the end zone, whatever, a little pancake, cupcake touchdown. But defense played well. I thought the best thing, though, like you said, Dak, not another quarterback who didn't have a stellar day, but over a 90 passer rating, 1 touchdown, less than 200 yards. They did it last year against New York in week 1. They did it again in Cleveland. But my one takeaway, I texted it to you today, was last year they struggled on the road. They were a
Yep.
home team. They could only win at home. And they came out, they beat a playoff team on the road. Good win. And let's go on this New Orleans. Let's see how they play. It's a long season, but I think I've done pretty good about maintaining my expectations. Like I said, I'm not uppity, super excited, but Cowboys win. Dak was paid. CD's paid. Let's keep playing football. Let's see some new things. Let's see the linebackers move. Keep the scheme going.
Knowledge is a burden, man. We're trying to have reasonable, good takes about our teams. Now we're both sitting here on a Monday upset that we're 1-0. So
Right.
wrong side through and through, but better than the alternative for now, I guess.
Sure, absolutely. Before we go into our life topic, quick college football update. I know NFL was a bit today, but we aren't going to do every game every week, but decided since there's no guests and it's just us, dive in with NFL. But we're going to do college football next before we do our life topic. Notre Dame, NIU, that was the story of the weekend, in my opinion. Northern Illinois, they got their bag, $1.4 million to travel to South Bend, and they
Yeah.
win. They beat Notre Dame, a top 5 ranked team, after a good defensive battle against A&M. I said it last week. I said it 2 weeks ago. I'll continue to say it. I think Notre Dame's season is over. I don't care what the record is. Unless USC is a top 10 team and they can beat them on Thanksgiving weekend, their season is over. They needed to go undefeated. They were only allowed 1 loss. They didn't do it. They lost to a MAC team. They are in disarray. If they cannot win out, they will miss the playoff with one of the easiest schedules in college football.
The first MAC team to beat a top 5 opponent. Now NIU Huskies are ranked number 25 in the weird AP poll, but crazy game. Riley Leonard not looking great. I was ready to buy in on the Fighting Irish after last week.
Zero passing touchdowns.
Zero passing touchdown. Marcus Freeman looked like he was ready to go. He was real beat up about the win. The NIU coach, it was great to see. Tears on the field. South Bend,
Real tears.
it's real tears. Yeah, not Sharon Moore-esque, but quite the environment out there. I don't get how it can keep happening. It must be the work of a divine power. If they join a conference, they will stop losing these heartbreakers. It's the work of God. God's a Big Ten fan, I guess. But Notre Dame continues to be Notre Dame. The more things change, the more they stay the same. I don't know how you can get dominated like that. Blocked field goal, even to put the cherry on top at the end. I guess they bought into their own hype after A&M, who turns out not to look that great either. So, like you said, they need to win out to even have a chance at it. And if USC starts to falter, one loss Notre Dame team may make a 12-team playoff. But anything other than that, you have a loss to NIU, who will more than likely be unranked to end the season. So they're screwed. We had them penciled in as guaranteed a cupcake walk to USC the rest of the way, and now they're penciled in as pretty much an out unless a lot of things change. So sad Notre Dame fans. What else is new?
See ya. See ya.
Yeah.
Go drink your whiskey and eat your Lucky Charms. Texas, Michigan.
I knew it. I knew it all along. Michigan is ass. They don't know now that they don't know the plays. They lost 18 starters. Sharon Moore doesn't have a contract, doesn't have a clue what's going on. Texas is one of the best teams in college football. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying Michigan is not a top 25 team, but they're not what they were. They don't control the line of scrimmage. They don't control the time of possession. They don't have the quarterback play to bail them out. Though J.J. McCarthy is not someone who's going to make every single throw in the book and push the ball down the field. He's going to make smart, timely, efficient throws. That they don't have that now in either of their two quarterbacks. The defense looks weak. They don't have anyone at wide receiver. They're just depleted. They've been a development program. We expect them to get better. But no love lost in that game. Watching every second. I hook them all day on
Good
Saturday.
hate watch. Good hate watch.
Great hate watch weekend overall. But Texas is great. Michigan, put them top 15, top 20, but they're going to continue to falter. And if they don't listen to Joel Klatt's podcast, if you don't listen to it, he has some great college football takes. Said they didn't follow a single part of the Michigan blueprint, that being controlling the clock, controlling the ball, turnover battles, stuff like that. So if they continue to look out of sorts like that, I wouldn't be shocked if they have 3 losses or 2 losses when they head to Columbus after Thanksgiving.
I think you kind of you hit it spot on. Texas is a great team. Michigan's not good. I think I texted to you again. I think another text I sent you today, but 2 weeks from now, it's going to be USC at Michigan in the Big House. It's going to be a real test, I think, for them. USC looked great against LSU. They shut out Utah State, which I understand Utah State is not a great team, but a shutout is a shutout. USC has the defense now all of a sudden. Michigan quarterback is an issue. Alex Orji comes in, it's an RPO or he's running the ball. Davis Warren, he looks bad. I feel for the kid. I understand he was sick in high school. He has a great story. Personally, I don't need to hear he has leukemia every 5 seconds. But my personal opinion on them, they can't run the ball. I told you this earlier, but on the championship roster, when they played that game in the national championship, those 5 guys on the line had over 180 starts together. This current O-line has less than 50 total, and they have 2 guys returning. A lot of young guys there. Run game is gone. Mike Johnson, or Will Johnson, whatever his name is, they said he was going to be the number 1 pick. He was getting burnt. He was burnt toast all day. I'm going to say it. I have USC in 2 weeks. I think USC is going to come into the Big House, and Miller Moss and Lincoln Riley are going to beat Sharon Moore, and they're going to have 2 losses.
I wouldn't be shocked. They're not a team that can play from behind. We saw some miraculous plays last year when they were behind, but this year especially, they are not a team that can play from behind. You get that offense in the Big House. We'll see what happens.
And 2 more things for the Michigan game, I will say. One, they said they dogged us every year. Oh, they just recruit wide receivers. Ohio State only cares about wide receivers. They have no weapons. Loveland looked like crap. He fumbled. If he can't get going, no one's going to get going from their weapons. Next thing about them, your fans are pathetic. They're weak. Saying they would trade last year for whatever. It's pathetic. That's the problem between Ohio State and Michigan. We're building every year. We're in the dance every single year. You guys want one individual Cinderella run? Now we'll know.
Cinderella asterisk run.
If you can't make it back this year, it's awful for we didn't cheat. It's awful for that take. FYI.
Yeah,
It's awful.
awful.
If you
And
cannot make it
Stallions
back,
loses 60-0 in his coaching debut.
right.
It's
And
bad.
and it's going to be really bad for Michigan fans. So I will say that. So awful. Looking quickly at Ohio State before we get into the last couple games. Ohio State came out firing. Jeremiah Smith has arrived. Mecca Buka, he's a beast. I love him. I hope he gets his flowers. I wish he was the number one guy, but he's always going
Yeah,
to be, I think, a 2-3. He runs routes really well. I think he has an Amari Cooper comp. I'm already putting it out there for the
I like
draft. Amari
that.
Cooper
I
comp.
like that a lot.
Plays the game hard as well. Silver Bullets are back. Defense looked awesome again. Even got to see a Julian Sayin touchdown.
Yeah,
Pretty
which was
awesome.
tough because I needed Will Howard to throw a second
Yeah,
touchdown,
you
so
got screwed by
I was
Howard. He had a
yeah.
rushing touchdown and then a throwing touchdown came back. It was bad beat, but Buckeyes look hot. Bye week this week. Got Marshall in 2 weeks, and then we're gonna ramp it up. We got a big in conference schedule this year, and I'm excited. I'm ready for real football.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. The Big Ten conference play will be interesting. In that same regard, Nebraska Cornhuskers are a problem. Maybe a little
May
overrated. Obviously, a lot of eyes come wherever the Colorado Buffaloes and Dion come. Um, there's a problem. There's a big problem with the Colorado Buffaloes. Shadur, I think, is still very talented. I think he is capable of being an NFL caliber quarterback, but that team is just not made up well. Their offensive play calling is uninspired, Joel Klatt called them. They don't run a lot of motion. They just kind of line up, run plays. That is very not like football offense in this day and age. A lot of motion, a lot of misdirection, no creativity in the run game. The defense, another shutout in the second half, 2 weeks in a row, which is a little impressive. But when you're throwing brutal pick sixes out of your own end zone like they were, there was really just nothing to do. A historic rivalry, won by multiple scores last year in Colorado, beat Nebraska. Dylan Raiola looks good. He looks confident. There was a narrative heading into the
a little
season that
Mahomey.
a little Mahomey for sure. There was a narrative heading into the season that the Nebraska Cornhuskers could be 7-0 when they march into Columbus, Ohio here in a few weeks. Looking possibly more likely, a lot more winnable games, and the biggest thing to fear is someone with nothing to lose. The Nebraska Cornhuskers don't have a ton of expectations. They are flying. Matt Rule has the boys going. Will Compton is on their backs. Defense looks good. Trenches look good. Run game looks good. And true freshman Dylan Raiola, you're thinking as long as you don't really fuck it up, like you'll be okay. There's a lot of other more seasoned returning pieces to that team. Matt Rule, I have believed in him from day one as a coach. I think he's a really good college coach. They're looking like they could be a problem in the Big Ten. No more of this 4-5, one possession loss type games. They look like they're ready to win some football games. And if there's any trap game that you can look at on Ohio State's schedule, it's that one. Especially considering my sister goes there, my girlfriend went there, one of my best friends went there. It's going to be a rough day for me. So, dear God, please, Buckeyes, if there's any game we really must win in the Big Ten, it's that one. It's all of them. But Nebraska's there.
Nebraska's there. I think my way of looking at this game, a lot of tone deafness. I think this was the entire. I don't know how the right way to put it, but this game encapsulated. I guess that would be the word. The entire Colorado experience. It did.
Mm.
Shador, I don't think Shador is hurt. I don't think there's an injury, but somehow he had to get checked up 2 minutes before the game. He left the field with the trainers and the
Brutal.
coaching staff. Bad luck. He jabs at Raiola and his own O line. This isn't his last game of the regular season. It's not like their rivalries like ours, where it's the last week of the season. This is week 2, and you got to play 10 more games with this guy. And you said, how many times did Raiola get touched? And these guys are going to be blocking for you no matter what. I don't care how much NIL gifts you give them. I don't care what your daddy says. It's bad. You cannot say that thing. We lost as a team. We win as a team.
Yep.
Even Travis Hunter looked really upset this week. Shiloh got hurt. He had a crash out, and he went crazy. And then
He's scary.
he's in the hospital now. He broke his collarbone or something, so he's done for the year
Oh,
or something like
that's
that. But
disappointing.
Nebraska, you're right. There's something there. Go Big Red. That's their thing. GBR. I don't. I'm not a Nebraska guy. I'm not a Raiola guy. I have no connection like you do. My brother's friend, he goes there, and he said he had a good time this weekend. But I agree. I think 7-0 is very possible. And I'm going to go out on record right now and say I could potentially see that game in Columbus ending up the same way as the top 10 matchup of Ohio State, Michigan State after they beat Michigan. If anybody remembers that first half,
Ooh, I
49
like that one.
nothing.
I like
49
that one a
nothing.
lot.
They're going to be ranked in the top 10 if they're 7-0, and they're going to come play a real football team and get their ass kicked in Columbus.
I think that's big. I think like a lot of the Big Ten is weak. Nebraska has a lot of weak teams. Again, Colorado is not that great of a team as we've seen. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him get knocked around a little bit. I believe CJ Stroud was about 32 for 35 with 400 yards and 7 touchdowns at half that game. Um, that would be beautiful. One other thing I got to say about Shadur, um, Deion Sanders is a Hall of Famer, one of the best athletes, multi-sport athletes, one of the best athletes we've ever seen play across any sports, I would say, safe to say.
Oh,
He has earned
1000%.
a rap album. He's earned the right to talk about himself, to talk about the game of football, to talk about
Sure. Sure.
things the way he does. He has earned the right. He has backed it up on the highest level. Like you said, these O linemen got to block for you for like 10 more games. You have not proven anything. You have won 4 games. You've won 4 games last year. They won in the HBCU conference the year before. You can't quite talk like that. And as someone who I do really think is talented, I think he is a good quarterback. I think he can succeed. You're going to get your fucking head knocked off at the next level. They were saying this stuff about Caleb Williams, and he had overall really good things to say. Jalen Johnson, now teammates with him, said, "You're not going to, this Hollywood shit, you're not going to be able to pull off in the pros. You think these professional linemen, these grown men are going to want to block for him in the league? I think he's talented, but get it together." I know Dion was a diva, but he was fucking dominant. This is I mean it's abysmal. It's a Hulu reality show at this point. What Travis Hunter is still one of the best players in college football. They have some stars there. I do think Jimmy Horn is great as well, but God, just keep your mouth shut. It's brutal out there.
And I think, and you know, I told you this week, I had a nightmare on Thursday night, and it sounds stupid, but this was a real nightmare. I woke up in sweat, and maybe this is something I need to see a doctor about, that this goes on in my head when I'm sleeping. But I had a nightmare that and this is Thursday night last week, and obviously now we're recording this. Things have changed a lot from when I've had this dream. But Thursday night last week, I woke up in a full on sweat. The Cowboys lost in the wild card round. They let Dak walk. They fired Mike McCarthy. They took Shador in the first round, and Dion was the head coach week 1 next year. It was a full-on nightmare. It was a full nightmare. And obviously things have changed. They've signed Dak. He's going to be the quarterback. Shador will not be our pick next year. I don't think Dion will be the coach. But I mean, it's like you said, shut your mouth, play the game. And that's the thing. Deion Sanders, you're right, has earned every single right to talk about the way he sees the game. He's like Peyton or Brady or any of these old guys that want to talk about them. They have earned that right. But
Yep.
when it comes to coaching, it doesn't matter. Deion Sanders has no coaching resume. He has nothing.
No.
Everyone thinks he's going to be an Auburn's coach or Florida State's coach or whoever next year. It doesn't matter. You got to win games. That school put up a lot of freaking money for you to be there, and you have not delivered one thing other than one cool win against Colorado State. They like trashed Travis Hunter or something, and then they became friends after. That's the only highlight of Deion's life. But
Yeah.
they need to come out. They're playing in the Big 12, which is a offense-driven league, and it will be very interesting to see how they play the rest of the season. But you cannot say those things about your own linemen, especially game 2. You want to sit out the bowl game. It's November. Fine, whatever. It's still bad. Be my guest. Scouts will see that. But scouts are going to see right through him, and it's going to be a problem. And it's like you said, Jalen Johnson. It's no Hollywood bullshit. We're here to play. 100% agree.
Even Dion, I'll be done after this, but
Yeah.
even the way Dion said it, like he made a snide little comment, like if I say what you guys are thinking, like I'm saying for thrown under the bus. There's a line for like, yeah, the protections were a problem against Nebraska. The
Yeah, no
protections
doubt.
continue to be a problem. That's a factual statement. The O line needs to be better. How you coach them up and how you go about doing that is one thing. Dion, he does okay. I mean, he gets a bad rap. There's a lot of questionable things that he does,
Sure.
but I still, I'm not going to say I fully support Dion. He's not a winning head coach by any means, but I still think like he could get there. He's still very new to this whole thing. But
Sure.
Shadur, like you can't. It's Shadur. I'm most disappointed in.
And RIP to Dallin Hayden, who left Ohio State and now gets crushed behind the Colorado O-line.
Yeah, that stings.
Last game we want to talk about. Do we want to talk about Oregon, Boise State, or do we want to talk about Syracuse, Georgia Tech? I know you wanted to talk about McCord, so I'm okay talking Syracuse. I think this is a big conversation. Quick conversation before we go to life. I think we should use Syracuse. Oregon won. If you missed the game, battled with Boise State, last second field goal. I'm sorry. Junty from Boise State. I'm calling it now. We're going to see that kid in New York City at the end of the year for the Heisman ceremony. Junty is going to be in New York City.
Oregon, there's some holes there for sure. So that October 12th game in Eugene will be interesting. But yeah, Kyle McCord, he's the Syracuse quarterback. If you don't know Syracuse, I'm not sure if they have a rich football tradition. I don't think they do. Maybe a couple alumni here and there, but
If Jake
Kyle
Marsh and Sam Blum are listening, we're not coming at both of you. It's just it's personal for
just the
ourselves.
football program. The journal school is amazing. I love all of you. Please come back on the pod. Kyle McCord, I believe, was a 4-star recruit coming into Ohio State. I was arguing while he was there. He was given a full extra star because he played high school ball with Marvin Harrison Jr., who was a first
He
round pick
did.
in the NFL draft. NFL draft this year. He he's a 3-star. He's a 3-star quarterback. He's a 4-star quarterback. He's now in the ACC, the weakest conference in football. Who the hell knows what is going on? Florida State, Clemson, Georgia Tech.
Right.
Who the hell knows? Who the hell cares? It's a weak conference. He's lighting it up. Fine, good. You're this quarterback of Syracuse. You know how far in the back of my mind Syracuse football is? I don't
Right.
care about them. To say you're rooting for him after what he did at the end of the
Right.
year, not to say that he was bad. He was not someone capable of playing quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. But I'm not rooting for him. At the end of the year, he missed one throw, hit as he throws to lose the Michigan game, interception. But he goes in, asks for more money, kind of did have some weird stuff with him and his dad on his way out the door, but everyone kind of saw the writing on the wall. Ohio State fans, I don't know why you're rooting for him. He didn't do anything for us. If anything, he hurt us more than he helped us. I think I could have won 10 or 11 games playing quarterback back there with those weapons. So I don't understand the Kyle McCord hype. Good luck, good riddance. I'd much rather root for many other quarterbacks in the ACC. Bill O'Brien with Boston College. I don't give a shit about Syracuse. I don't give a shit about Kyle McCord. Out of sight, out of mind. I don't pay him no mind nor respect, and I don't know why Ohio State fans are.
Yeah, looking at their schedule right now, they got NC State in a couple weeks and Boston College. Miami at the end of the year, not a ton of hard games. They should win them. They are a good team. I actually do like their coach they got, Fran Brown. I think he is actually putting something together. But like you said, I'm not really rooting for him. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback. And that's the thing, that I think people need to accept he
Yeah.
just wasn't built for Ohio State. It's okay to be a good quarterback, but they're not. I'm not rooting for him in any sorts. It's annoying to see people still backing him. We have so much. Will Howard looks great. I don't care what anybody says. He looks great.
Amazing.
He's running well. He's throwing well. I will critique him once. He had one ball to Jeremiah Smith this week that was underthrown. It was incomplete. He had him. Would have been a touchdown. But
Yeah.
other than that,
Again,
it's enough. Get McCord out. I'm tired of talking about him. Whatever. Do your thing. It's over.
I don't hate him. It's truly
No, no,
indifferent. And
no.
if I don't know if that's
Yeah,
worse than hate. Like, I'm not rooting for his downfall, but it's like he's
exactly.
gone. He wasn't the guy. That's it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't
100%. 100%
don't
agree.
yeah. Mhm.
Wrapping up our first section now, little break from football. I know that was a lot of football. So for anybody who's still listening, thank you for listening to today's episode. Just kind of happened that episode 25 was week one, and you're going to get a lot of it. We usually do a good mix, but our life topics today is just kind of wrapping up the first half of our episode, just keeping things fun, keeping things fresh. I think it's tough, especially for us. You saw it right there for 45, 50 minutes. We like to talk football. We like to watch football. A lot of our weekends now moving forward from now till February is going to consist of a lot of football.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's people who don't like football and don't watch that much. There's people who don't like NFL but like college, or like college don't like NFL. But there's people who like to do other things. And obviously, I think I've joked about it before. I'm on the side of no fall weddings. I will always stand by that. But I get it. There's times when sometimes life can feel boring or social media can get to you. We've talked about it here and there. I think there's just some small things that, especially in your 20s, people are starting to figure out. We've been out of college now. A new school year has begun. It's already
Yeah.
September. So now we've been almost out for 2 full years. December will be 2 full years since we've been out. And I think there's a lot of times where you're like, man, like there's some things you wish you can be better. And I know you wanted to talk about the guy from YouTube, whatever his name was. I think it's like Nico something, but kind of talk about social media and how that can have an input on you. From my aspect, the kind of topic stemmed from like life can sometimes be boring.
Mhm.
And I think it's true. Joey and I do this obviously on the side. You guys know this. And we're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week sometimes. And we still get these out. And along with that, we also like to have fun. We like to watch football. We like to hang out with our friends, our girlfriends, etc. And it's tough. I get it. You can't do it all. And there are days where it's boring. And I think there's times, especially for me, where maybe I visit Meg and I'm in St. Louis and she's super busy. And I've been at fault of doing this where I want to go do something. I want to go out. I want to do something. I want to be
Yeah.
active. And it's okay to sit there sometimes and do something. You're always, I mean, I've from a young age, I was go, go, go. I would have school and practice and this and that. And then I got to high school. I had zero period at 7 a.m. I would go to school till 2. I had baseball practice, then ASB, then volunteer, then homework, APs. And originally, I always thought that it's good to be busy. And it is great to be busy,
It's great to be busy. Yeah.
but it's okay to be bored sometimes. And I think
Yeah.
it's okay. And people don't like hearing that, but it's okay to like sit down and relax. I didn't really do much this weekend. I just watched football, but that did make me happy. And I think there are
Hmm.
times where people don't see that as a positive. They see it as like, I sat on my ass for 48 hours, which, yeah, you did. And you got to get active. I worked out on Saturday morning and I did a little Sunday morning. You have to do something and be healthy. You don't want to be eating shit all day if you're watching football, sitting on the couch all day. But it's okay to be bored sometimes. And I understand life isn't always sunshine and rainbows and everything, but it's okay to have different perspectives of life.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I've learned in the, like you said, near 2 years since we've been out of college, like you have to be comfortable being alone. However,
Hmm.
you just have to figure out really what you like to do. If you want to be go go go, if you're someone who has dinner 3 to 5 nights a week with your friends, you go out, you spend money, you do experiences, and that makes you happy. Do it. If you're someone who on a weekend doesn't want to talk to a single soul, you're tired from your work week, you want to sit on your butt by yourself and watch football for 48 hours, do it. There's Life is so easy to make hard, and but it's also so easy to make easy. Like you can't just be sitting around all the time. That's a problem I think I find myself happening a lot. I work from home. I spend a lot of time at home. A lot of my friends are still living in the suburbs. I got my roommate Kyle. Him and I hang out. But there are times when I really want to get up, go do something, go see people. So you got to find ways to step out of your comfort zone. I joined a lacrosse league in the city that's going to be starting in a couple weeks. Very excited about that. Something planned during the week, not involving drinking, something to get out there, a little team building, some stuff that I miss from the high school days. Like you said, practices, sports were always a great outlet, watching and playing. So it's it's hard to do. There's always something you're missing, and I think that's my biggest problem. Whether it's being with family, it's been a big point of mine since I've moved away. I'm only an hour and a half away. I don't have a car, but it's not hard to get home. I'm not spending time with my family. If I'm with my family on a weekend, I'm not with my friends. I'm missing out on that. Maddie's busy with school, so it's easy to look at all the things you are missing, and it's easy to be like, oh, I'm not working out as much as Michael is, or I'm not reading as much as someone else is, or I'm not in grad school, I'm not doing this. It's about being present. And it's something I need to be way better at, because it is okay to be bored. It's okay to take a night off. It's okay to go out 3 nights a week if you want to. So it's easy to compare yourself to others. And I think the YouTube story is a great example of why our world is just so effed up. So I'm not fully familiar with this story. I believe the guy's name is Nick Avocado. I have no idea. But long story short, he was growing a YouTube following over the last couple of years. A very heavy set person. I'm not even quite sure what he did, but amassed millions of followers, subscribers, views on YouTube, TikTok, all that fun stuff. Meanwhile, we found out over this weekend those videos that have been coming out over the last 2 years were all pre-recorded. He had lost upwards of 100, maybe 200 pounds since then, dropped a video saying he's 2 steps ahead of everyone. He knows he was sitting there watching all the people making fun of him for being fat, a lot of hateful negative comments. It was all really just a big social experiment. He was releasing these videos every couple days, every couple weeks, biding his time, grinding behind the scenes, which is, I think, what a lot of us need to be doing a little bit better. But just a sick, twisted game of, you can look at this fat guy on YouTube getting millions of followers. Why can't I be him? I do what I need to do. I go to my 9 to 5 and have my crappy little life and blah, blah, blah. It's really easy to fall into that thought process, but you don't really know what's going on. He was grinding his ass off, losing all this weight, though it was very psychotic and serial killer-esque.
Yeah, yeah, yes, it was.
It's easy to be like, oh, this is what I see online. I haven't posted on my Instagram in 3 years, but I also have a podcast. So my whole social media thing's kind of fucked up. But life's twisted. Do you be present, be where your feet are? I think that's present. And I'll actually tie that back to a college football answer. Cam Ward, quarterback for Miami. They're on quite a
Okay.
tear, a top 10 ranking this year. It's easy to be like, why am I not Shadur at Colorado? Why am I not at a big Power 5 school? He's transferred 3 times now. I don't even know where he started. Cam Ward started at first.
Mhm.
But now he's at Miami, one of the most historic football programs in the country. Be where your feet are. He thrived every level he has been at. He continued to level up, survive, advance, and get better. That's what you need to do as a person, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Get better. Don't worry about what's happening to the person next to you. Don't worry about what's happening to the person across from you. Be where your feet are and get better. Don't worry about it.
I love that. I think in a sports term, especially like getting better, being present, like I look at NIU. Like I think NIU is a perfect example. Like you said,
Yeah.
they were getting a paycheck. They were getting called. They were getting paid to go get beat up in South Bend, and it didn't matter to them. They wanted to be present. They wanted to show up. And I think that kicker who hit the winning field goal to take the lead for them is going to be remembered as one of the biggest names in NIU history. He will. I think he's going to be great. I think that coach is going to be like small things, like
Bigger than that.
never.
Bigger than
There's
NIU.
big, yeah. I think like you kind of hit it with this lacrosse and stuff like that. Like being a part of something bigger than yourself. And we're now a quarter of the century here. We've joked about it in episodes. We're going to be here at 1. We're going to be here at 25. We're going to be here at 50. We're going to be at 100. And we don't know the end all be all of wrong side. But
No.
we're here. We're 25 episodes in. We're present. We're here. We're getting better every week. We got guys helping us on social media. We have guys reaching out. They want to write for us. Guys helping us. Hey, we can get this guy to interview. How about this guy? We're part of something bigger than ourselves. And I think now, like, yeah, we're not. Maybe we're not present every single day. Maybe it is. Maybe for us it's okay. But you know, I try. I kind of got caught into a little trap and thinking about it of like, yeah, like sometimes my weekends are boring. I just kind of hang out with the same guys, and you know, I've been kind of on this save mindset of because I don't know where I'm going to be next year with Megan residency and moving, and
Yeah.
that's a conversation for another day. And I'm trying to save every penny I can get. But to me, it's like, well, I love saving money. I love not spending the money, and I'm grateful that I'm still living at home. But also, it's okay to be present, and like it is okay to like save money, but it's also okay. And I need to take my own advice about this, but it is
Yeah.
okay to spoil yourself. Like I bought a hat last week. I wore it. I think last week's episode. It was like a Buckeyes 47 hat. It was like $35 with the 15% off I got off the website and
Yeah.
like free shipping. But it was like
Uh-huh.
$35, and like to me, like $35 is like, oh man, like I can't believe I spent that. And I know 35 cents is a drop in the bucket. I have a full time job, I have a salary, but it's okay to do those things. And like I'm not good about that. And I think that's one place where I'm not present. I want to be better at that, even though I try not to. I try not to be that person, but I'm trying to be better at it. But we're all trying to grow. And it's
Yeah.
okay to sit and watch football. It's okay to sit and just relax. It's okay to go out, like Joey said, but just do you. I think my biggest complaint with social media, going to that guy on YouTube, is I see people going on trips, whether with their girlfriends or their friends, and they're going on these lavish vacations. And I'm like, brick, man. Like I'm sitting at home, I'm working, I'm saving money. I never take time off, never.
Yeah.
I took
Mhm.
4 days off for my first full year, and it was like, and I didn't take a fifth day because it was Memorial Day weekend. I tried to maneuver holidays, and I mean, I did, but like that was my way of taking only 4 days off, and like I spread out 4 days total from now until I think March, or no, I have 4 days off I've scheduled from now till May, and it's like
Damn.
it's
Figure
okay
it
to like
out, kid.
I know, and it's like, but like you know, I'm trying to be like the guy who like, oh, you want to go to work, you don't want to miss work, you don't want your boss to do that, but also it's like
Mhm.
it's okay to like live, and I like personally I've never been a guy who's like worker over life, but I feel like I'm just like stuck with kind of just being busy at work, and you just can't break away.
Yeah.
But I got to be better about like it's okay to just be living at home. It's okay to not be on vacation. Those days will come. Like the days will come, and like my grandpa always says, like he has this quote. He's like, "You're only here for a cup of coffee," and
Big.
it's okay to like take that coffee slowly and take your time, do the right things, and do what makes you happy.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's a great quote. You'd say it a lot. You said it to Jake when he went off to freshman year at Ohio State. Life's too short. Life's too short. So be where your feet are. Be present. We do need to take our own advice, but yeah, I that's big.
Big, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed a lot of college football. 25 episodes in, we're gonna kick it to our ad read now for clutch moment of the week, and then outside the line. Our clutch moment of the week is brought to you by Shore Metals, serving Southern California since 1970. Big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. See Stan, he'll help you out. Joey, who's your clutch moment of the week?
Keeping it going with the football conversation, I referenced it earlier. Jalen McMillan, University of Washington graduate, NFL rookie for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Burns, rookie cornerback. Mike Sarancini from Michigan, that team up north. Those damn cheaters. Burns them in the end zone, hits OH to the crowd. Not even a Buckeye, but knows where his heart lies. University of Michigan is a bunch of scums. Shout out Jalen McMillan. He is my clutch moment of the week.
Little natty redemption for McMillan. I love that.
Yes.
My clutch moment of the week goes out to the baseball world. Obviously, baseball wrapping up. We're in September now. Angels are dead, but my clutch moment goes out to second baseman of the San Diego Padres, Luis Arraez. He's been a consistent 300 hitter in his career the last few years. They've been calling him the modern day Tony Gwynn because he doesn't strike out too much. He just gets on base. He's not ever going to be an MVP guy. He just hits for contact. But my clutch moment goes out to him because in the second half of the MLB season, he struck out 2 times so far in almost 80 games in the second half. So 2 times. If anybody's played the sport, 2 times in an entire second half of a season is asinine to even think about. He's insane. He's still hitting over 300 and incredible to see. So Luis Arraez and Jalen McMillan, clutch moment.
Wrapping it up with Outside the Line, starting out with Tone Deaf Person of the Week. Mike, who you got?
We've seen it all year. It just picked back up last week. I'm tired of it. As John Fanta says, I'm ticked. Tone Deaf Person of the Week, umpires and referees. I'm tired of it. They're not bigger than the moment. They're not bigger than the game. Bring me the robots, in baseball. I'm tired of balls and strikes being an issue. I'm tired of these guys getting these feelings hurt because they're hearing it from the players. Football side of things, it is 2024. I as much as I do enjoy the chain game, I do. It's freaking ridiculous that we have these guys misplacing the ball every time. They misspot the ball. It's never right. They have to review it. Oh, how did they miss this one? Because they never put it in the right spot. I don't know if they're in cahoots with somebody or whatever. Along with that, the Oregon-Boise State game, the return touchdown, that guy dropped it in the end zone. They called it a touchdown. The review was 30 seconds because they said number 27 picked it up in the end zone. Still haven't seen a video of number 27 picking it up. Just seen the guy drop it. It's pathetic. Refs are bad. I don't care if games take longer. Everything should be reviewable. Under 2 minutes, before 2 minutes. If you mess it up, everything should be reviewable. You have Mike Pereira in the booth with Brady and Kevin Burkhardt in Cleveland. Everything should be reviewable. He should be able to call down and say, hey, pause for a second. The game is too valuable. The wins are too valuable in every sport to be giving games away. Umps and refs, Tone Deaf Person of the Week.
Yeah, the flag shows at the end of games too. You're letting it go the whole entire game and switching it up at the end just to do something. I don't get it. We've seen the Chiefs get bailed out. I've seen the Packers get bailed out by that time and time again. Don't get me started. But yeah, refs are bad. Refs are bad.
Show. Okay, Tone Deaf, how about you?
Mine, I got a spicy take here. NFL Red Zone. NFL Red Zone is the original TikTok brain rot, and I don't stand for it. Scott Hansen is a gem, an American icon, Mount Rushmore of Americans, arguably. But if you actually
top 5 invention,
football,
Red Zone's top 5 invention.
No, fuck no. Red Zone fucking blows. What is the fucking point? You watch a random third down, a random field goal. Watch a football game. If you want to see the TikTok highlights, go on the NFL's TikTok. I don't get it. You're not really watching anything. I've never understood it. The Octobox makes no sense. It hurts my head. I don't like it. I've tried to watch it before. It was hooked up in the Beta House TV when we lived there. Great passing by. But I'd prefer to watch a game, watch a drive, see the tendencies of an offense. I'm not here for every punt and touchdown and interception. I'm here for games. I'm here for plays. I'm here for, the whole football experience and not just all that bullshit. Okay. That's my take.
Question here. Do you have Red Zone, the entire Red Zone? You just have the Red Zone channel.
I had it in college. I never watched Red Zone. We were never. The only time I tried it was in college.
Okay, so you're anti-Red Zone. So you don't split your screen. You don't have another screen.
YouTube TV.
As multi-view. Okay.
I can do multi-view, but it's not changing constantly. I can control what's on. It's not.
I'm never on Red Zone. I feel like no one's ever just watching Red Zone. Red Zone is a
It was on
solo,
in the beta house a lot, and I hate the
but there
Red
was
Zone
two TVs
channel.
always. It was like the side
Yeah, the
TV
Browns
was
game was on
always.
the other one.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can't. I mean,
Or the
we
other
can't
game.
control the
There
two
was
things,
always another game on, but
but
I think it's a complete waste. The Red Zone channel is a waste. I like Scott Hansen. He's great.
I I think Red Zone is a great invention. It's awesome. I think it's not a main screen TV. It's a side TV. Um,
Thank God.
the Sharber
I thought it
family
was
has the Sharber family has two TVs next to each other outside. Well, they're not like right next to each other, but like they're
it's a W.
distance. One is just Red Zone. All it shows is Red Zone. But our main TV in the center, outside of when the Cowboys play. When the Cowboys play, it's just the Cowboys game. But when the
Yeah.
Cowboys aren't playing, the main TV is four games, and you get to pick and choose.
So
So I
I think
agree.
there's
I'm not I would never choose to watch Red Zone over other full games, but I feel like Red Zone on is always great. Like it's awesome for fantasy. One, they added a new
pretty good
feature where
for
you can add your players to your account and it'll track your touchdowns.
that part's
Awesome.
nice.
But that's a side. I think that's not a hot take. Red Zone is a side TV. It's not a main TV.
I think it's a no TV. I would say it's even a
Oh,
no TV.
oh, I'm not
Let
agreeing with
me
that.
so the problem with football today is you're too reliant on the aliens and athleticism, the Josh Allens, the Anthony
Okay.
Richardsons, the Lamar Jacksons. You don't have quarterbacks. You don't have people who can dissect the game and make decisions. Brady had a great conversation with Colin Cowherd a couple
Shouted out
months
Dak
ago.
Prescott. FYI said he can
Shouted
change
out
the
Dak
game.
Prescott. You call it you're never snapping the ball into a bad play. You're reading the defense, you're making it happen. Give me the ball. Give me the TV remote on a Sunday. Give me 2 TV remotes. Give me 4 TV remotes.
Okay.
I'm putting us in the best positions.
But here's the
Red
thing.
zone useless.
Red Zone was perfect for this week, I think. There were enough good games. I don't need to watch Panthers versus Saints. I don't need to watch Giants versus
We're
Vikings. I
flipping.
don't
We're
I don't
flipping.
need to watch Raiders versus Chargers. Those four, I can just see the highlights during Red
Then
Zone.
go outside, Michael.
I have
Then
I
go
have another
outside.
TV. I don't need to watch those games fully. I don't need to see Gardner Minshew play against overrated Justin Herbert. I don't. I don't need to watch that. I don't need to
I
watch it.
don't
I'm
like
gonna
that.
watch. I'll
Yeah.
watch four other good games, and I'll watch the highlights in Red Zone. It's perfect highlights. Oh, Panthers scored.
I
Oh,
would say
Panthers picked.
it's a third TV, maybe even a fourth TV. I'd rather have just
Sure,
other full
no,
games on.
1,000%. If you have a third TV, I would put it third. But two
Fifth
TVs,
TV potentially.
no,
Fifth man
no,
of the year.
no. That's asinine. That is tone deaf. You're tone deaf. I think Red Zone and Sunday Ticket as a whole are my top 5 human inventions of all time. We can get
Yeah,
into that.
Sunday
We can
ticket,
get we
yeah,
can get
but
into that another day because my top 5 probably differ from a lot of other people's.
oh no. That actually would be a
Wrap it
good one.
up
We should
though.
do that.
Wrong side, wrong side of right side. That is a good topic for future.
I'll start it out with my right side. Coming at you over here, Post Malone, avid Cowboys fan. Earlier this year, Morgan Wallen at Kansas City concert came out in a Harrison Butker jersey. No
I did
surprise
see
there.
that. Yeah.
That was kind of wild. But Post Malone this weekend in Dallas, week 1. Dak gets paid. CD gets paid. They're back. They look good. Stars of the team, no? No.
Yes.
Post Malone
Oh,
comes out in concert wearing Aubrey, the kicker, the main guy, the best kicker in the league now that Justin Tucker has been dethroned, some are saying.
I have
Should have
heard
given
that.
him a shot at the 71. But that's my right side, Brandon Aubrey.
Love that. Wrong side.
Wrong side. What did I say for my wrong side? Wrong side. RIP. A lot of sadness, a lot of death happening over the last couple weeks. James Earl Jones, Darth Vader, the guy from the Sandlot. I don't remember his character's name. James Earl Jones. He died. He
Mufasa.
died. Huh?
Mufasa.
Mufasa. Oh my God. Don't even get me started. James Earl Jones died. Seems like death's kind of in the air lately, but that was very sad. That was a very wrong side moment. He's a legend, an icon, another American hero. R.I.P. James Earl Jones.
R.I.P. Darth. Yeah, sad. Um, Awful for James Earl Jones. For me, right side, wrong side to wrap it up. Right. I'll start my right side because it's exciting versus assault from wrong side. Right side for me, going to St. Louis this weekend. Going to see Meg. Last Med Prom. Pretty excited about that. We get to honor her on Friday. Also, AOA, big award for her for SLU Medical School. So that's great. She has a
Amazing.
little event on Friday night. Great. And Saturday night, we have the event, fourth one, last one. Pretty excited for that. Always a fun time. I think it's at the St. Louis Zoo, which I've heard good things about. So
Okay,
it'd
nice.
be a fun weekend there. Wrong side, also Meg. Bullying me is the wrong side. Last week, everyone always likes to make fun of the Cowboy fans, and I've eaten it. I always eat it. I'm never going to be the one to complain. I understand the stigma. I understand the fans. I get it. I understand it a lot. But I get it from my friends, and you think your friends are going to give it to you, and your buddies are going to give it to you, and maybe your buddy's dad who likes a different team. There's normal ribbing. Um, Meg sent me an Instagram reel after the Cowboys had won, and I was very nice about the Bengals losing. I said sorry. I didn't say anything when they lost,
They were
and
bad.
it said that guys will say they're not gay and then put on a Cowboys jersey, and that's bullying. That's bullying. It's social media bullying.
Assault.
She's a bully. It's assault. And I texted her back. I said, "You can't do this. I get it enough from my friends. I shouldn't be able to get it from my girlfriend." But yeah, so bullying by Meg, wrong side.
You're gonna have to give her a stern talking to when you go out there and see her. What a bully!
All
That's
right, well,
brutal. You could have been so
that's
mean
so
about the
bully,
Bengals.
so
Yeah,
bully, so bully. And
Megan,
Dave likes the
Megan, I
Bengals, and
expect more from you.
yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, how
Yeah,
is assault? But yeah, that's my wrong side. Wrapping up now. Great episode. Happy 25. We'll see you at 50. Very excited to see you then. Joey, another great week. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday.
stay blessed.